The family of an 11-year-old First Nations boy handcuffed at a Brandon elementary school is demanding answers. The boy was handcuffed and removed from the school after police say he was damaging property and punched the principal. And as the CBC's Chelsea Kemp reports, the boy's parents say more should have been done to de-escalate the situation before police got involved.
An 11-year-old First Nations boy was handcuffed and escorted from a Brandon school Tuesday after police say he punched his principal and smashed holes in drywall while throwing books and furniture. His dad says his son has ODD and autism. He wants to know why his son was traumatized instead of getting the help he needed.
We could have went there and solved the problem instead of that escalating and me having to see my son get thrown on the ground by a guy and pushing his knee right into his face and cuffing him and him screaming.
CBC is not naming the family to protect the child's identity. The boy's mom says she could have de-escalated the situation if the school called her.
He probably freaked out, because they don't let him call me. But I thought, I thought maybe they could adapt.
When the mom got to Earl Oxford School, she was allowed to speak with her son, but he remained aggressive. So police placed the child in custody. When he calmed down, he was released to his dad, who says it never should have got to that point.
They called the cops first, then they called us.
In a statement, Brandon School Division says police are called as a last resort, and they're committed to creating a safe and secure learning environment for all students. What they didn't say is how many support staff are available. The Manitoba Teachers Society says staff are reporting more behavioral issues in classrooms, and teachers don't have the resources they need after years of chronic underfunding.
We will see a decline in violence when we're all on board and we all decide that this is a problem that we need to tackle together.
In Canada, anyone under the age of 12 can't be criminally charged. Brandon University sociologist Christopher Schneider says it's unusual to see a child taken into police custody, especially during a mental health crisis with his parents present.
Was there a sufficient time frame provided to the parent to, otherwise work with their child to do this? Or did the police in frustration place the child quickly in handcuffs?
For now, the family says they just want answers and accountability.
We should be able to rely on his principal and teachers to protect him and to keep him safe.
Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
A serious crash in the Crestview neighborhood sent at least one person to hospital and shut down a section of Cavalier Drive this afternoon. An SUV could be seen wedged under the back of a truck. The area near Hillary Crescent was surrounded by yellow tape. Traffic on Cavalier Drive was blocked from Hamilton to Ness Avenues. Winnipeg police and paramedics were on scene but have not released any information on the severity of the injuries or how the crash may have happened. Congested and unreliable. That's how the City of Winnipeg is characterizing one major commuter route in the city. It is now looking to ease safety and traffic concerns on one section of St. Mary's Road that has seen a number of collisions in recent years. The CBC's Rosanna Hempel reports.
This 1,500-meter section of St. Mary's Road sees about 40,000 cars a day. Now, the City of Winnipeg wants a consultant to find ways to improve safety and traffic here.
Partly because there's a bottleneck between Morier and Taché Avenues. The northbound and southbound lanes along this stretch go down from 6 to 4. Woodcock Cycle Works is located at one end of the bottleneck.
We end up with a lot of vehicles merging right in front of us. Here, it backs up, especially earlier in the mornings as people are trying to get downtown.
Co-owner Kendall Thiessen says it's not only congested, but has been prone to collisions, including a fatal crash in 2022.
It can be dangerous, and we do get people in here who have been hit by cars.
The goal of the study is to find potential low-cost safety and traffic solutions that could be implemented in the short to medium term. It will not look at bigger changes like broadening the road or cycling infrastructure, which could fall under a future rapid transit study. St. Vital councillor Brian Mays says other options are on the table and are long overdue.
The The staff are keen on looking at what they're calling a reverse lane, a lane that would go northbound in the morning, southbound for the afternoon rush hour. That would be amazing if we could get that, possibly widening a little bit to create the fifth lane, maybe down the middle, maybe for transit.
Colin Remelard's family business is on St. Mary's. He hopes the city considers how any changes might impact stores and would support a flexible lane.
So anything they could do to tweak things, to increase the flow and also reduce maybe the dangers. We know St. Mary's is a fast street and it's a very dangerous street. There's pedestrians walking 2 feet away from cars going 60 kilometers an hour.
The city recently increased a no parking and stopping restriction during afternoon rush hour. The city is budgeting at least $390,000 for the study. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg police will be back riding buses this summer and patrolling the areas around transit stops. The anti-crime initiative began last fall after an increase in violent crime on buses. The program wrapped up at the end of the year. Police say transit-related violent crime dropped 18% compared to the same time period the year before. Starting this weekend, there will be an increased police presence on transit routes and at bus shelters. Officers will be on the lookout for any violent or disruptive behavior. Members of the newly formed Rapid Response Unit will be a part of this initiative. Caspian Construction has paid the City of Winnipeg $28 million. This money settles a lawsuit over the police headquarters project. And as the CBC's Bartley Kivas reports, the payment comes on the final day of public hearings in the inquiry about the project.
On the final day of Winnipeg's police headquarters inquiry, the city announced Caspian Construction has transferred $28 million, fulfilling a deal to settle the city lawsuit over fraud and deficiencies at the police headquarters project.
The conclusion of the inquiry and also the receipt of these funds is something that will hopefully should bring some satisfaction to the citizens that this is now over.
Dunford was the last witness at the inquiry. It spent 4 months looking at the $214 million mega project, which was plagued by cost overruns, examined by audits and Mounties, and dissected in detail by a total of 2 civil lawsuits. Winnipeg's mayor says the inquiry was still worth it.
I think once again shone a spotlight on what went on and reiterates the fact that there's a reason that we as a city chose to go after individuals.
The inquiry heard former Winnipeg CAO Phil Sheagle deny a court conclusion he accepted a $327,000 bribe from Caspian owner Armick Babakanians. Armick's son, Sean Babakanians, also testified his father said Sheagle and former Winnipeg Mayor Sam Cates wanted $4 million. Those were the most high-profile events at a public inquiry that ended up getting truncated. 48 planned days of public hearings were trimmed down to 28 as the inquiry tried to remain within its budget.
We got full confidence in the work that's being done.
Justice Minister Matt Wiebe says he's not concerned the inquiry was cut back.
I know that the report that's going to be generated is going to be comprehensive.
That report is due by the end of the year. Commissioner Garth Smorang has been asked to lay out what happened and recommend ways the city can avoid future construction problems. Political scientist Paul Thomas says the commissioner must ask and answer 2 key questions. Did the corruption around the Police HQ project happen mainly because of the absence of sound rules and structures? Or was it mainly the result of an unethical culture at the top of city government reflecting the character and lack of integrity of the political and the administrative heads of city government? What the report can't do is lay blame or suggest criminal charges. Smorang nonetheless promised to be blunt about bad behavior. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, well, let's shift gears to a look at your weekend weather forecast now. And a pretty decent day, at least here in Winnipeg, to go for a stroll like some of these guys did, but there's a bit of wet weather on the way. Let's have a look at satellite and radar right now, and you can see some cloud cover starting to push into southern Manitoba as we have come through the afternoon hours here. Still some rain along the Saskatchewan border, and even looking at some of the lightning detection there around the Dauphin area of some pop-up thunderstorms throughout the afternoon hours as well. So some moisture still in parts of western Manitoba where we did see some of that rain. The temperatures a little bit cooler than in the rest of southern Manitoba. So 11 in Swan River, 12 in Roblin this afternoon, Dauphin at 15, but 22s and 23s actually getting to 21.9 in Winnipeg this afternoon, and even a nice 19 degrees in Thompson. So I mentioned for southern Manitoba looking at some rain as we head through at least the early part of the day on Saturday. Northern Manitoba can expect a few showers through the later part of the day on Saturday, and looking ahead to next week, looking at some very hot conditions starting to move into the province. You'll start to notice that happening into Sunday. I will have your full forecast coming up in just a bit. And still ahead for us tonight, taking matters into their own hands, how residents in a southwestern Manitoba community built a new medical clinic, raising $2 million themselves. That story and more coming up right after the break. Welcome back. Glenboro is now home to a new medical clinic. Residents in the southwest Manitoba community built it by raising $2 million themselves. It replaces a more than 70-year-old facility. The CBC's Michelle McDougall gives us a look at the new clinic and the community's plan to staff it.
finishing touches on the outside of a brand new clinic built from the ground up by donations from people who live in and around Glenboro.
This is an unbelievable fairy tale that you would never think, I'm telling you.
Dale Fisher is a councillor with the municipality of Glenboro, South Cyprus. After almost 3 years of planning, the Spirit Sands Medical Clinic is weeks away from opening, thanks to donations from locals and municipalities within 100 kilometers.
In 2 years, with doctor recruitment, with private money, to do this whole medical clinic for $2 million, plus another $140,000 that went to recruitment to get the doctors here to open this thing. And this is totally, totally remarkable.
Lorelei Mitchell has lived in Glenboro most of her life and says she was the first one to donate.
If you ever look at anything that's happening in rural Manitoba, they've been closing things down all over the place, and we keep losing things.
The new clinic is behind the existing one, the hospital and personal care home. Glenboro has 2 physicians and 1 nurse practitioner. Each will have their own new office with extra exam rooms, allowing them to move from patient to patient. Local photographers will bring the bare walls to life with a collection of their favorite snapshots. It's a far cry from the current clinic that has cinder block walls and few windows, says resident Sandy Armstrong.
I was almost ready to buy them a new stool for the one office the first time I seen it, but this new clinic is going to be just fantastic.
And it will be an investment in the future, says Ron Jeffries, head of the fundraising group.
You don't know whether you're doing right or wrong, but you know that if you do nothing, what the outcome will be. And so, we're tried.
The new Spirit Sands Medical Clinic is expected to open in June with the official ribbon cutting ceremony in the summer. Michelle McDougall, CBC News, Glenboro.
Well, still in rural Manitoba, people in and around Portage La Prairie will soon no longer have to drive hours for breast cancer screening. The province says more than $1 million will go toward mammography equipment, staff, and training at the city's new hospital. The health ministry estimates between 3,000 and 4,000 people leave Portage each year to get mammograms.
It's a big barrier for people to go travel outside of their home community to get access to something as basic as mammogram, and this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. I think they're going to be very pleased.
Now, the plan is for the new services to be offered when the new hospital in Portage La Prairie opens next spring. On top of the $1.3 million from the province, the Portage District General Hospital Foundation also kicked in more than $700,000. 2 senior members of Manitoba's government are under scrutiny over their legislature behavior. This week, the Premier laughed and made random noises, while another MLA waited 30 minutes for a minister to respond to a question. The CBC's Ian Fraze reports.
Premier did say that he, again, you know, it's, I asked the Premier numerous times to please be respectful.
That laughter you're hearing, Premier Wab Kinew.
Order. This is unbecoming of the Premier. It is unfortunate. I'm just asking to be respectful. I'm asking questions. He barked at me. He, lobbed jokes the whole entire time, completely dismissive.
Opposition leader Abhi Khan denouncing Kinew's behavior during a legislative committee.
Just asking to be respectful. I'm asking questions.
Ask a question. I'll answer.
And this is the behavior we're getting from him. It's unfortunate.
During question period, heckling is expected. At committee, not so much.
Abhi Khan is performing his role in that clip in asking questions. It's not the government's role to denigrate the opposition or to heckle to the point where the person can't ask questions.
Kinew saw it differently.
Estimates as well. I like to have fun. The PCs are very dour. I like to lighten the mood.
The political scientist says the animosity goes beyond Kinew and Khan. That same day, independent MLA and former NDP caucus member Mark Wasiliu asked the question at Justice Committee, then waited 30 minutes for the minister to say he and his staff couldn't dig up an answer.
If we're just sitting there watching the minister scroll through his phone for half an hour, the public isn't being served by that.
Matt Wiebe downplayed his former colleague's concern.
When it's a serious question from a serious member and from a registered political party here in the province of Manitoba, I do everything I can to get that information. And
there's no requirement or deadline at committee for a minister to answer a question. Legislature rules allow for 45 days for a written response. In this case, Wiebe chose not to. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, time now for a full look at your Manitoba weather forecast. And if you haven't noticed, I'm doing a little bit of double duty, covering both the news and the weather tonight. And we are looking at a weekend where we'll be on a couple of sides of things, temperature-wise and sky-wise. So we'll get into it with a bit of rain coming as we get through into the day tomorrow. Let's start with Thursday, though, because some parts of western Manitoba did see some pretty significant rainfall in some cases as the result of some thunderstorms that moved through as we got through the later part of the day yesterday into early this morning. So Hamiota, 41 millimeters of rain. Thursday up to midnight Friday morning. So as of early this morning, 38 millimeters of that actually coming in 1 hour in a thunderstorm. So some very wet conditions in parts of Westman, Verdun, 14 millimeters, St. Rose, Neepawa around 15 millimeters as well, and closer to 20 through Ericsdale into Fisher Branch, where some of that rainfall fell through the night last night with some pretty significant thunderstorms in some cases. I mean, not so much wind-wise, but certainly bringing some downpours as well. So you can see on satellite and radar, we have started to see some cloud cover pushing in, and you can see along the international border there, some shower activity starting to make its way north of the border. This is our next weather maker, an area of low pressure pushing north from the Dakotas, and this will bring some rainfall for the early part of the day on Saturday. Not a total washout tomorrow across southern Manitoba. So looking at Futurecast as we get through the next 24 hours, as we get through the weekend here, you can see as we get overnight into Saturday, that rain beginning into the Red River Valley and parts of south central Manitoba around 11, 12 tonight into the Winnipeg region, and that rain continuing as we get through the overnight hours into the Interlake and into the Narrows, for example, before we start to see things tapering off into the later part of the day on Saturday. So Saturday, not a total washout. We'll see some shower activity into the morning, into the early afternoon for parts of the Interlake. And then we start to see some clearing as we get into Sunday. And this will signal a pattern change for us and introduce some much warmer air into the province as we head into the back half of the weekend and into next week. So rainfall-wise, this is a general 5 to 10 millimeters for most of us through south central parts of the province. Morden Winkler, for example, could get closer to that 15 millimeter mark. But generally speaking, this is a quick shot of rain across south and central Manitoba as we get through the early part of the day on Saturday. So temperature-wise, it will kind of depend on when we start to see some clearing. 18 might be a bit optimistic for Winnipeg, but we'll see where we get as we get through the day. Tomorrow, 16 in Brandon, Dauphin 14, mainly cloudy skies, Thompson 19 with sunny breaks. And then look at Sunday, 26s and 27s for a lot of southern Manitoba, 28 degrees in Melita, 22 in Thompson. And a quick look at your long-range forecast, up to 30 degrees for Monday, 31 with a risk of thunderstorms into Tuesday. Your 7-day forecast is still ahead. And how about from deer to geese, more animals enjoying the nice day we had today here in Winnipeg. We have more ahead right after this. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is facing questions about a fall referendum. It will ask Albertans if they want to remain in Canada or start the legal process of holding a binding referendum on separation. Smith said she will vote and campaign for Alberta to stay part of Canada. The CBC's Michelle Bellefontaine has a reaction from Edmonton.
Premier Danielle Smith took questions for the first time about the referendum question she announced last night, a question that will ask people to choose from two options: to keep Alberta in Canada or for the government of Alberta to start a legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate. Smith was asked on Friday if she's to blame for creating a national unity crisis. She said she's trying to find a solution because pretending the problem doesn't exist makes things worse.
Just because you acknowledge frustration doesn't mean that it goes away if you ignore it. I think people need to understand that. If you ignore the fact that 700,000 people went out and signed a petition campaign saying, let's have this vote, and I choose to ignore it, that just doesn't make it go away. What will happen is that one side will get the majority of the vote, and then the other side will have to stand down. And I think that that's the important part that you go through in a democracy, is that you have to be able to have the discussion so that you can talk about the merits of one side versus the other, make a decision, and then move on.
NDP leader Naheed Nenshi is accusing the Premier of gaslighting Albertans, making it sound like the 400,000 plus people who signed the pro-Canada petition were asking for a referendum. Nenshi says she's also gaslighting the people who signed the petition asking for a referendum to separate from Canada.
For Danielle Smith to say, oh, you wanted a referendum, not only is it lies, not only is it gaslighting, it treats Albertans like they're idiots. And Albertans are not idiots. And that's going to be this Premier's downfall, that she thinks she's smarter than everyone else.
Separatist leaders are mad that Smith is essentially having a referendum to have a future binding referendum. They are threatening to organize against Smith's leadership of the party and vote against her in a review this fall. Smith didn't address several questions about that threat in the Friday news conference. She said she was more interested in what Albertans have to say. Michelle Bellefontaine, CBC News, Edmonton.
The federal government is considering changes to labor law, including who can strike and when. Marina von Stackelberg looks at what's on the table, how the Liberals are justifying their review, and why unions are already fighting back.
As Canada embarks on massive plans to expand rail, ports, and international exports, unions worry the federal government is trying to fundamentally alter labor rights in this country. Ottawa is consulting on changes to the law that protects more than 1 million Canadian workers.
They've basically opened up the entire Canada Labour Code, and when you look at the consultation documents, there are a lot of things there that have been on corporate Canada's wish list, including new limits on the right to strike.
Some of the possible changes could see Ottawa enforce earlier starts to bargaining and longer strike notices. It could affect who is allowed to go on strike by changing what is considered an essential service, and could look at how to use Section 107 of the Labour Code differently. The federal Liberals have increasingly used it to single-handedly force striking workers back on the job.
It's no secret that the country is under immense stress.
Jobs Minister Patty Hajdu says there's an economic urgency to modernize the Labour Code, so Canada's workers and employers can reach agreements without Ottawa getting involved.
So the survey really is asking about how we could support collective agreement negotiations earlier, what kinds of tools are working, whether or not there are better approaches.
Businesses say part of Canada's strategy to rapidly expand its economy is about being reliable, especially after recent major labor disputes shut down ports and rail.
And if other countries don't believe that Canada can reliably deliver the goods because we have consistent labor disruptions, that's going to be a significant problem for the economy.
But the opposition says the government isn't making changes in good faith.
The concerning thing is we've seen the most labor disruptions in 30 years under this government because they've so poorly managed labor relations in this country.
Canada's collective bargaining regime has been in place for decades and decades and decades. You can't make changes within a month.
Unions say they believe the federal government is already drafting legislation, and based on the short 38-day consultation timeline, they worry the government's mind is already made up. Marina von Stackelberg, CBC News, Ottawa.
In Washington, there's growing outrage tonight over a $1.8 billion fund, one that could be used to support people involved in the January 6th riot that followed Donald Trump's defeat in the 2020 election. Katie Simpson has more on the fund and reaction from one of the police officers who defended the Capitol that day.
January 6th rioters may soon qualify for compensation from the U.S. government over unfair treatment, a proposal that is adding a new layer of insult to injury.
Push it back!
For those who defended the Capitol that day.
I was outraged. I was angry.
Former Washington, D.C. police officer Michael Fanone was severely beaten in the attack.
Mike, stay in there, buddy.
He is adamantly opposed to what Donald Trump calls an anti-weaponization fund.
As if it wasn't enough that he went and pardoned those individuals, he's now going to use American taxpayer dollars to pay them.
Any American who feels the Department of Justice has been weaponized against them could apply for compensation. A 5-person board shaped by Trump's DOJ would adjudicate cases and grant payments from a nearly $2 billion fund.
Thank you very much.
Trump has long accused the previous administration of targeting him and his supporters, including January 6th rioters.
So many lives destroyed, so many livelihoods ruined, and this settlement is just a small measure of the justice that they are owed.
Just to be clear, people that hurt police get money all the time, okay?
On the slush fund.
On Capitol Hill, the backlash has been swift.
It's the most blatant act of corruption in American history.
Democrats and even some Republicans are speaking out.
But this is, this is just stupid on stilts.
Anyone in America who's shocked or surprised by this hasn't been paying attention.
Fanone says he fears this fund will inspire more political violence. And in this moment, he appears distraught at just how normalized it all seems to be.
This is what Trump supporters voted for. And so, my anger has since turned, like I said, to the American people for betraying me and betraying my colleagues who fought to defend democracy. Because what did we do it for?
2 U.S. Capitol police officers are suing the Trump administration to try to block the fund. And lawmakers postponed a vote, an attempt at exerting leverage until they get more answers. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
The World Health Organization has raised the public health risk from the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The strain now circulating is a rare one with no proven vaccine. There are about 750 suspected cases and 177 deaths. While officials say the risk globally remains low, in Canada there are growing questions about how incoming travelers will be handled. Christine Birak reports.
The update was stark.
The Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is spreading rapidly.
Health officials say the virus now poses a very high risk to people in the DRC, and the risk of it spreading to neighboring countries, including South Sudan, remain high. At Bukavu University, near the heart of the outbreak, a clinic has been set up, complete with isolation tents and open spaces. The director says the site can accommodate 25 to 30 patients. Local residents say they're worried. This woman says borders near and far are closing, hurting businesses.
It's important that we look at how effective things like travel bans are.
A U.S.-bound Air France flight was diverted to Montreal yesterday after U.S. officials blocked a passenger under Ebola entry rules. Canada allowed the plane to land. Health officials say they're using a screen, manage, and contain approach, but that could change.
The decision around the borders is a decision that is made by Cabinet. However, I will be providing advice to Cabinet on this very fluid, rapidly evolving situation.
I will say this quite emphatically. Closing your borders like the Americans have done and are doing is not an effective measure.
Experts say travel bans can slow the spread, but only temporarily. A more effective approach is to screen travelers, test when possible, and keep in touch with them for about 21 days to check for symptoms. In Ontario, a sick traveler was tracked, tested, and Ebola was ruled out.
If you're checking in with them either every day or every second day, you can actually get that direct communication.
My wish and prayer that we should give it the attention it deserves, because no one is safe until everyone is safe.
Health officials worry without a vaccine to combat this rare strain of Ebola, this outbreak will be deadlier than the last one. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, the World Health Organization is also urging countries to continue monitoring for hantavirus after another case was detected. Today, the WHO announced a Dutch crew member of the MV Hondius cruise ship has tested positive and is now in isolation. The global count of hantavirus cases linked to the vessel now stands at 12, including 1 Canadian. 3 people have died from the outbreak aboard the Hondius. An advertising campaign has landed Starbucks in hot water in South Korea. The company declared Tank Day earlier this week to promote its line of spacious drink tumblers. Unfortunately for Starbucks, the promotion coincided with the anniversary of a government crackdown in 1980. Some Koreans feel the tank motive refers to the vehicles used to crush pro-democracy protesters. The country's current president says the campaign insults the victims of the bloody struggle. Starbucks has now sacked its chief executive in Korea and suspended the campaign. Fast fashion or sustainable fashion, why some shoppers are raising eyebrows over a recent retail acquisition. More on that next. Fast fashion giant Shein is buying eco-friendly clothing brand Everlane. Everlane says the two companies have reached an agreement for the sale, adding that the company will remain an independent brand committed to sustainability. But as Nisha Patel reports, some customers are skeptical.
Servicing a global network of Shein customers.
It's an unlikely fit. Chinese fast fashion giant Shein is buying American retailer Everlane, known for clothing that's ethical and eco-friendly. The online backlash has been swift.
I'm like gobsmacked by this because these two things are so completely opposite.
Shein, of all brands, $100 million to completely throw away your entire supposed ethos.
The deal appears to be a lifeline for Everlane, which has struggled with falling sales and rising debt.
They failed, I think, ultimately because of traditional business missteps. They opened up expensive stores with long leases. Their merchandising turned out to be stale and slow.
Taking over Everlane gives Shein a physical foothold in the U.S., access to a higher-end market, and perhaps a chance to improve its reputation. In a statement to CBC News, Everlane's CEO said the company will remain an independent brand, staying true to long-standing brand values, sustainability commitments, and exceptional quality. Some customers are skeptical.
This really reconfirms to me that Everlane never really cared about being sustainable or ethical. It was just a marketing ploy.
Natural materials.
The Everlane news comes just weeks after eco-friendly sneaker brand Allbirds announced it was abandoning its mission, raising questions about the future of sustainable fashion.
I do think that this is a wake-up call that values and good intentions alone aren't enough. So when the market rewards that lowest price, fast delivery, responsible brands are competing at a structural disadvantage.
In a tough economy, most consumers are looking for the best bang for their buck. That brings Shein a lot of business. It was forecasted to earn nearly $2 billion in profit last year. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
SpaceX could be headed to the moon, but not in the way you think. It's currently working towards a potentially record-breaking stock market debut, which could see company founder Elon Musk become the world's first trillionaire. But as Lane Harrison explains, for investors, it's also a trip into the unknown.
Usually, it's rockets, but SpaceX is preparing for another type of launch. Elon Musk's company is planning an initial public offering, or IPO, a step toward trading on the NASDAQ stock exchange that could be worth more than $1 trillion.
It's a historic IPO. It is going to have volatility to the likes that we probably have never seen before.
After growing through Starlink internet satellites and reusable rockets, SpaceX could instantly become one of the most valuable publicly traded companies on Earth.
They want to raise a boatload of money. They want to continue to innovate. They're talking about raising $75 billion. You just don't do that by going passing around the hat.
Musk has long been known for his ambition to bring humans to Mars, but most of SpaceX's revenue has come from its Starlink satellite internet division.
So Starlink internet is what's being used to pay for humanity getting to Mars.
And according to the IPO filing document, most of SpaceX's spending is on its least profitable division, xAI. The plan to attract investors includes building AI data centers not just on Earth, but in orbit by 2028.
SpaceX is less a space company and more of an AI data company at this point.
Not everyone is convinced orbital data centers will work.
The promise is that you get sort of free energy from the sun. But then you have to worry about how do you actually cool all of these things up in space, which is an unsolved problem. If something goes wrong, if a GPU goes down, it's up in space, far more difficult to be fixing these sorts of things.
If the IPO this summer is successful, Musk could become the world's first trillionaire. There are also reports that AI giants Anthropic and OpenAI are both eyeing their own public offerings. Lane Harrison, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, spring has taken its sweet time getting here this year. But while we humans have been grumbling about the cold temperatures above ground, a world of creatures underwater are living their best lives. The CBC's Jim Agapito headed to Fort White Alive to discover an often overlooked world in our local wetlands.
Spring in Manitoba isn't just happening above ground. Life is emerging underwater as the weather warms up. We're at Fort White Alive with Education Manager Katrina Fraze to discover the busy world that's emerging underneath the surface. Okay, Katrina, you're about to scoop a sample here. Can you describe what you're about to do?
Yeah, for sure. So I just have a simple aquarium net that you could get at a pet store, and I've got an old container recycling. It's great. So I'm just gonna take my net and I'm gonna go into the water and I'm just gonna do some figure eights with the net so things don't swim out, and we'll see what we get in here. So I just tipped my net over and I dipped it in the water because water's really sticky. So all of those critters would have been stuck to my net. If I dip it in there, I'll be able to let them swim out.
Oh, wow. So what changes happen in the pond once the ice melts in the spring?
Well, even if there's still ice on the pond, there will be things starting to move. There's all kinds of very, very small creatures that wake up as the ice is melting, and they start to grow, they start to reproduce. And as you watch the pond over time, things get bigger and bigger and more diverse. So there's more different kinds of living things the longer you watch. What we'd start with in the early spring would be really small invertebrates. You might know them as plankton. We've got the copepods, which are the smallest ones in the bucket right now. Water fleas, also quite small. We got our side swimmer, which is like a type of freshwater shrimp, just cruising around down there. And then the water mites are also fairly small. They actually have 8 legs, and they have a really round body. And then I'm still seeing our leech as well in there. And then if I flip to the other side, I've got some insects that we've got. So the ones that were gathering their air bubbles at the surface and heading back down underwater are our pygmy back swimmers. And I think I saw a mosquito larva in there as well. There's a caddisfly. Oh, my favorite one. This little tiny line that's moving every so often. There's 2 of them in here.
Okay.
It looks like a dash line that's moving. It's actually a tube made out of plants that's being pulled along by a little caterpillar-like creature that's using its legs to swim.
For kids and adults visiting Fort White Alive, what's the reaction like when they first scoop something alive out of the water?
There's always excitement. It doesn't matter the age of the person. If they catch something in a net and see it in a container, they'll be excited about it. So we remind them that they need to sit or kneel when they're looking for things in the water, so we don't have someone go in the water. But yeah, everyone is just kind of wowed and amazed, especially if we can get something underneath a microscope where you can look at it up close.
Why are ponds such an important part of the ecosystem in Manitoba?
Well, they're shallow water, so that allows a lot of sunlight in, which means a lot of plants can grow. And plants are, of course, the bottom of the ecosystem, and they produce oxygen. So that's really important. The other thing about ponds is that the water doesn't move very quickly through the pond. So if water comes in and it's full of dirt, sediment, things like that, it settles out when it gets into the pond. And that allows the water then to be cleaner when it leaves. I would say just the amount of life, biodiversity that depends on the ponds in Manitoba, it's really significant. So lots of different kinds of birds, wildlife, amphibians like frogs, turtles. So they're really a very important place for growing all kinds of life.
What should Manitobans pay more attention to the next time they walk past a pond or wetland?
I would say just take a minute to stop and open up your ears and listen, because throughout the spring, throughout the summer, there will be different cycles of life in the pond, and they all make different sounds. I would say right now most of the things that we're scooping are pretty small. I would expect tadpoles. There are probably some tadpoles in ponds already. Wood frog tadpoles are the kind of larger black ones that you'll start to see. I'd look for turtles starting to pull themselves out of the water and warm up on the shorelines. And then as time goes by, we'll start to see dragonflies flying around, laying eggs, and underwater we'll see the larvae or the little dragonflies starting to get bigger. All of these living things have a life cycle, and many of them it takes multiple weeks to months for them to go through their life cycle. Some creatures they go through their life cycle within a week. So it really depends on what we're looking at. But we'll see change all the time, and it's an exciting time of year.
Still ahead, making a splash. We'll close out the week with a bit of cuteness. And of course, it involves a baby animal. We'll have more on that coming up in your Daily Lift. Plus, here is a look live outside from the roof of our building at Portage and Spence. We're looking at clouds building in, a bit of rain to start off the weekend, and a really big warm-up coming up. I'll have the details in your 7-day forecast. Plus, I could not forget about Feline Friday to close out the week as well. I'll have that when we come back. Stay with us. Municipalities in south central Manitoba are cleaning up after last week's windstorm. For some RMs, the bill could exceed $1 million. This is what it looked like south of Winkler today. Last week, winds topping 100 kilometers an hour whipped topsoil from fields into ditches. It now poses a potential flood risk if there is a big rain. RM of Rhineland, Reeve Don Weeb, says 9 backhoes and 2 ditchers are removing dirt at more than 130 sites.
We were looking at something between $500,000 and $1 million worth of damage, equipment time and so on to get it done. And then you can appreciate the urgency of getting it done, because if we get a heavy summer rain, there will be lots of crop damage.
Weeb says it will take a couple of weeks to get it all done. He says it's possible the RM could declare a state of emergency to expedite things, although there is no immediate danger right now. All right, I couldn't send us off into the weekend without Feline Friday, and tonight we've got Tuxedo, if you can see there. Tubby is a saved barn cat who clearly is the queen of the house. Thank you, Ramona, for sending this picture, and please keep sending yours to talkback@cbc.ca. Tomorrow, a great day, at least for the first half of the day, to maybe stay inside for a bit of a cat nap. We are looking at some rain moving through in the morning hours. Should taper off by late morning, early afternoon, then some sunny breaks into the afternoon, and temperatures topping out around 17 or 18 degrees across southern Manitoba. So here is your 7-day forecast, looking at 18 through the afternoon tomorrow in Winnipeg. Clearing sky into the day on Sunday. Look at that, 26 degrees, 30s, 31s through next week. Mainly sunny skies. There is the risk of thunderstorms as we get through the afternoon on Tuesday. So prepare for a very hot week ahead. A quick weather picture for you. This one, Bob taking in Wasagaming. What a gorgeous sunset. Please keep sending your weather pics to talkback@cbc.ca. And now a bit of cuteness involving a young animal making a splash in Berlin. Literally. Here's your Daily Lift. Oh my goodness, you are looking at a baby pygmy hippopotamus enjoying her first outdoor bath. She was born earlier this month at the Berlin Zoo, but hasn't been named yet. She may be small now, but fully grown pygmy hippos can weigh up to 270 kilograms. Great way to go into the weekend, especially with those hot temperatures coming next week. Have a great weekend, and we will see you here next week once again.